What's up, everybody? It's your boy Spence Crosby, aka Faiska. I'm in the good old Michigan right now. Still in Michigan with the homies as usual. Go ahead and introduce yourselves.
Coming out of Michigan, starter number one. No, I'm just playing. Professor Ill Will. It's your boy William Taylor, CEO of New Wave Coaching. What is going on, y'all? Welcome to the Fill Your Cup podcast.
And hey guys, what are you doing today? Tyler Wellness here, making yourself a priority every single day.
And what's up with everybody? So, we're going to go ahead and, last week we didn't even start off with tea, man. I was on that bullshit. Well, yeah, I was on that bullshit because I ain't have the tea ready. So, this time we got the tea ready. And so, man, I'm going to get a new tea set. I do. I want to get like a newer one. I want to get like a blue and gray and white model. Okay. I don't know what it is. Trying to be a part of the royal blue bloodline. The great British. Oh, trying to pull that up real quick.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
Ooh, my bad. I'm spilling.
Looks potent.
It is, man. Imagine if your urine looked like that.
Right, kind of looks like that.
Oh, shit. Major dehydration. Right. But I know it's really hot, so we can't really take a sip right now. But I know what I use this time. Oh, yeah, just a turmeric ginger blend. I had a good workout session early this morning, and I was like, let me reduce the inflammation. Man, speaking of that, man, I was talking to Tyler, like, earlier this week, and I was talking about supplements. I don't take any supplements, man, but I did think about taking some BCAAs. And we were talking about, well, have you put your body in the process of healing? And I'm like, nah, when I think about it, I haven't stretched. I'm not always hydrated all the time. I'm not massaging my body with my massage gun. So I haven't gave my body the environment of healing. And so I'm like, maybe I should do that. But then it's just like, damn, do I want those BCAAs? Do I want to do it? Do I want to take a supplement? And I'm like, I don't know. So I'm on the fence right now. I might stop by a vitamin shop. I refuse to go to the one on, near Krispy Kreme?
Vitamin shop?
Yeah, I do not like them, man.
Why?
Some of the employees. Yeah, and I'm just not a fan of them. I remember the manager, man. He's an asshole, man. He doesn't look you in the eye. I'm a big proponent of looking people in the eye and just it's more me, social things, and it's just like just who he is, man. I ain't like his demeanor, man. I'm just like, it was one guy, he was cool. I think you guys know him. Oh, Diesel guy, kind of big.
Asian dude.
Yeah, he's cool.
Who's that, my man?
Yeah, he's cool. He's cool.
Shout out to Marky Mark, man.
But the manager, I'm not a huge fan of him, and I interviewed for his job. Not the manager job. Sorry, just as an employee. And it was, I didn't get hired. But yeah. So yeah, man, I know I want to talk about the best source of information you can get, and that's from the mass media news. If you're not getting your information from there, like something's wrong with you. You need to stay current on your news, okay? All right, watching your Fox and CNN.
Psych your mind.
Oh, yeah. We got to set the intention. Thank you, Tyler. He's
good.
Fucking up right now, man. All right, so let's go ahead and set this intention, man. With that, Tyler, bro, I'm going to leave that to you, bro. What you thinking, man?
Is that today's intention?
Yes, sir, man. Passing the mic to you, bro.
All right, good idea. All right, guys, so for today's podcast intention, since we're getting, back on this roll, I think that we should make this be like a rolling stone towards like super success, right? So this podcast is like kicking off our future of the Fill Your Cup podcast.
I like that, man. Manifest destiny.
Ooh, it's hot.
It's hot, bro.
I can't even touch it. But yeah, you guys know what I mean. I'm gonna just kind of drag it over here, slow.
All right, y'all.
All right.
Tap.
All right, good. Yeah.
Tapping in.
All right, who wants the mic next?
Let me say something, because actually that was going to be one of the subject matters I wanted us to talk about was tapping in, but I didn't think I can. I was like, it's kind of whack. But I not when Will said that, I'm like, damn. And then when Tyler just said super success, and like, we're tapping into super success. Yeah, so Shit, see, man, that's what I'm saying. I'm confident. That's what I'm saying. I'm confident in our ability to be like, we can bullshit, shoot the shit, and then we just come up with a subject because it's how our minds work. So I know how we gonna come up with something. That's why I'm never like, I'm just kind of like, we gonna come up with some shit. We always do. But yeah. We were just playing about I was just playing about the news shit. Don't be tapping into that. Don't watch that shit, man. That's some bullshit. Like, you can stay current. I don't stay current. I just kind of like being lost in my own sauce and stuff. But if you want to stay current, just don't watch the mainstream shit. Otherwise, you're going to be easily influenced with the bullshit. But anyways, man, since Tyler talked about tapping into super success and all that stuff, man, I want him to start us off with just breaking that down. Furthermore.
All right. Let me get the spelling of a guy's name really quick so I can kind of make sure I say his name right. So,
Joe Dispensa.
Yeah, Joe Dispensa. Yeah.
He's
So,
a master, bro.
my goodness. So, what's crazy, like, I had been reading and studying a lot of things that are in like the world of like what he kind of puts out there, which is there's heavy in the spirituality, but then tying it to realistic stuff so then you can understand it all. The fact that you can manifest your life essentially by changing your thought processes. And in one of the books that he was that I had just got from him, which is Becoming Superhuman, right? It's so crazy. Like there's one of these. There's a story like in the second chapter where this lady, her husband ends up committing suicide, tells the kids and everything, like hugs them, doesn't tell her anything, doesn't leave a note or anything, goes and jumps off a building. She finds out about it when two cops come to the door and knock and say, hey, gotta talk. She eventually creates within her own subconscious mind, because in this event, she has to be composed for the kids. She has to, figure out all these problems. How is she going to survive? How is she going to provide? All these kind of things. Realizes he had a whole bunch of debt she didn't know about. Has to realize how to pay all this stuff. She starts developing tons of health defects and so many other things because of the stress that all that brought on. And as that brought on more stress, she goes to the doctors and they start saying, hey, here's some treatments that you can do, not asking her about how her mental health is doing. And so as she's getting on these treatments, she's going down and down and down. More things are happening in her life. She's really just spiraling down this negative path. And eventually she gets hit with, you got cancer. Yeah. And then all of a sudden, she eventually hits a bottom in her life and decides that she's going to change. Finds Joe Dispensa in his work and starts meditating. He starts realizing hey, you can kind of tune into a greater version of yourself and start doing actions every day, through meditation, sort of building that lifestyle. And eventually, several years later, gets that doctor checkup. The cancer's gone completely. All the other things that she had developed over that time's completely gone. She's a completely different person. Yeah. And so it's tuning into that super success. Realistically, anyone in his book, he also talks about how in the present moment, there's an infinite amount of present moments, so basically there's anything that's possible, but we have to have, belief and faith in knowing that there's a way to make that reality happen. And so as we're going through our day, it's we're always creating limitations, saying things aren't possible, we can't make that happen. And those are, blocking off those possible futures that are all around us every single day. So, yeah, if we just tap into success, becoming aware of it like we're always talking about, again, the possibilities are everywhere.
Yeah, that's sick, man. You had mentioned there, every moment is the present moment. And that's deep to think about because it's right now is the present moment. Right now, so it's there's infinite opportunities in the present moment. That's deep. I like that.
Super powerful.
Yeah, and the keywords it's for me, since doing YouTube, you have these things called keywords to put into your for your video to get into the algorithm. And the keywords I took from that was superhuman, meditation. What was the other one I had imprinted in my head? It'll come to me, but super success, of course. And so those really stuck out to me because when he said those words, the neurons began firing, and I was going back into the the past imprints of my mind. I'm damn, it's unraveling right now. Oh, remember that. And I was damn, when you think about that shit, you think about Superhuman. I thought about going to the highest thought of yourself, because you said that not in that same words, but you said something like go to the higher. I can't remember how you said it, but it's pretty much going to the highest thought of yourself, and you operate out of that thought. And that's something I had learned from someone sometime last year. And oh no, it was just from this link. It was this like years ago, 3 or 4 years ago. One of my friends had sent me this link, and it was a YouTube thing, and this guy, and like he impersonates God, and he's like, you have to go to the highest thought of yourself, and you have to operate out of that, and that's how you truly reach success. And when Tyler said that, I'm like, damn, yeah, operate out the highest thought of yourself. When you operate out of that, nothing in the world is like inconceivable. You can conceive anything, you can create anything, and that's how you reach super success, by tapping in, of course. That's superhuman type shit right there, and that's what we're all destined to do. And I think I was talking to Tyler earlier this week. We were talking about we were working out, just shooting the shit, and I was listening to some two YouTubers, and they were talking about damn, man, I don't know how I lose my train of thought sometimes. I think my mind you be like boom. Yeah, it's just like boom. You just lose it. But anyways, they were talking about different things and how to reach success and whatnot, and they had talked about operating at the highest thought of themselves, and that's truly what it is, man. To like accomplish the things you want to accomplish, and it takes a courageous person to really operate and be themselves. Oh, and that was another thing. I was watching the Instagram video, and Snoop Dogg and 50 Cent were talking. It's probably an old video. Yeah. They were talking, and Snoop was just like, if you just be yourself, boom. And it's just like, damn, yeah, that's really true. Like, if you just be who you are, I'm telling you, that's what makes this world dope. That's what makes it so unique, because we all are unique. And that's what I came to the thought now. That's what the two YouTubers were talking about. They were saying, like, I lost it. I'll be back.
They were saying you got to be unique, bro, right? Or
they were saying you have to be, like, unique. Oh, okay. So they were saying basically how this is the book. His name is Big Boy, man. I like Big Boy. And he was talking about this book he read, and it was like this little dog or something like that. He would never be an alpha because he was small. He was weaker than the true alpha male animal. And so the thing about being humans is we could be born a certain way, weak, fragile, whatever, but we can always change that. You know what I'm saying? Like, for me personally, I was born a timid kid. I was scared because of my environment. My mom did the best that she could. Shout out to my moms for doing that. But ultimately, she wanted to protect me. So that overprotective measures made me scared and timid of the world. And so I had to get out of that, and I had to become who I am now, a stronger male version of myself. But I always think about, when I'm doing certain things, I always think about, like, guys, I'm going on everywhere right now, but just bear with me. There's this Hunter x Hunter scene, right? And Gong is like the big guy. I forgot his name. He says to Gong, if you don't put a hole in my head, you gonna stay your ass here. You ain't going to find out what happened to Kite. And so he's like, okay. And he was like, you want me to go full 100%? He's like, yeah, don't hold back anything. So Gong begins, the dude powers up. Gong just like, he walks up and he just like closes his eyes, and he starts to focus in like on what happened to his boy Kite. And it shows what happens to him. And then his eyes just drop, it goes black. And then he does his move. It's called it's like rock, paper, scissors, but he calls it a sideshow. I don't know, wagi or something like that in Japanese. And he winds it up. But him thinking about those that past that happened to him, that's how I think about myself. I be like, when I do certain things, I'm like, that inner Spence is still there, like that coward, that timid kid is there. And it's just like, I'm going to keep creating that outer shell for you. I'm going to protect you. I'm going to make sure you're confident, stay true to yourself. And I always think about that, me being a little kid being scared, but I think about this outer shell, who I am now, and I'm like, damn, the highest thought of myself is in control right now. So it's like you have to operate out of that, man, to really achieve the things you want to achieve. And I was everywhere with that, so I appreciate the patience.
Yeah, that's powerful, bro. That's legendary, man. You gave me chills right there.
Yeah, man.
Thinking back to that past experience. Yeah, man. I definitely feel like I can relate, kind of like David Goggins, like the cookie jar. He kind of says he goes back to those times when he was in trouble. All the kids were calling him the N-word and getting shitting on, and his dad beating his ass, and he has to channel that into the present moment, kind of, and kind of recreate a new version of himself.
Recreation. I'm bad, I need to spit on you, but that's the key. Recreation of yourself, man. Like, legit, we all have suffered in some shape or matter. It's not a matter of who suffered more. The matter is we all suffer. That's the source of it all. Who cares about less or more? What matters is the recreation of yourself. How are you going to change that? How are you going to take that timid, scared little kid and you're going to be this confident, just bold person and realize everything you want in this fucking life is yours. Take that shit, man. Like, run that shit. You are the ship. You are the captain of the ship.
I'm gonna add something to that too. So very briefly, we had mentioned too that everyone kind of suffers too. I'll say it's not that everyone suffers. Everyone goes through pain, but if you dwell on that pain, you suffer. So if you start to focus your thoughts on the pain and everything like that, you're gonna really create thoughts that resonate with your current thought process. So if your current process is, the pain of the event that happened in your past, now you're going to recreate, thoughts like that in your future and see that, kind of transpire in your everyday life, thus recreating and building like a habit loop of like what kind of goes on in your day-to-day life and your thought habits. You'll think like as you're going down the street, someone cut you off last week. This is the street someone cut me off. And every time you go down the street, now you're like, man, this is the street that person cut me off. Yeah, right. And then you just keep that, that thought process going, and then years and years and years, like now your kids and stuff, like listening to you, like, this is the street someone cut dad off. Like, like it just transpires into this thing that just, this is that street, because you never let it go.
Yes. Yeah, that's one thing he said right there was kind of interesting is that, everything else in the world changes around us, the scenery, what's going on. But your experience doesn't really change so much. It's more of a repeating cycle. Your thoughts are based off of your memories, your past experiences. You can't change those. And every time you think back to that memory, you get a thought, and it's going to create a habit of you thinking that thought and feeling that feeling that's attached to it. So it's just a ever constant cycle, spinning wheel. You go back to that thought, you think the thought, you feel the same way you did when you were in that situation. But until you can kind of have that mindset shift, you can create a whole new experience, One of the things I even do, like, I'll think about, sometimes, like, I'll wake up in the morning, I'll be just, like, dragging ass, man, like, tired or just, like, unmotivated, and I'll look at the time, it's, like, 11:20, like, shit, and then I'll think, like, you know what, in the change of this minute, 11:21, I can have a whole new perspective, a whole new mindset, and be on attack mode, and just in the change of that minute and the change of that thought, I could be on a whole new thought trajectory and just change my thoughts just on the switch of a dime. But it's a hard thing to do, man. It is. But it's an interesting way to look at things in your own thought process.
Yeah, like the biggest thing too is you definitely don't want to dwell on your past so much, because I know I was in a movie theater yesterday and I was like, oh, these young kids about to be loud as fuck, get on my damn nerves. But you manifested that. And so, like, that's the key thing, too, is there's times you just like, oh, my gosh. In the back of my, yeah, you, and you know better. You know better. You know that, like, dude, like, I shouldn't think like that. But it's just, like, you let that lower thought take over, man. But that's the whole thing, man, about this life. This is what it really is. Like, fuck a world war. We at war, like, with ourselves, man. And it's like, yeah, so it's just like, that's the hardest thing, man, to really just, like Will said, like, 11:20, fuck, I feel like shit, man, I ain't gonna do shit. 11:21 could change that thought. He knows he can. What do? You change that thought, you change just your entire day. And I think Will Smith had mentioned that before, about, like, going from experiencing something and then changing your entire day. Like, like, for me, sometimes when I'm like, I used to be like, oh, I ate like shit. Well, I'm gonna eat like shit the rest of the day now. No, like, okay, eat like shit, then I could change it now. I'm like, oh, okay, now I feel better. So it's just like, I'm sure a lot of people feel that way. Well, I start off with a bad breakfast, well, I can eat whatever I want now because I'm gonna start over tomorrow. You keep starting over tomorrow. Next thing you know, you're gonna be a fat fuck, and you just like, damn, what just happened? Like, and I don't mean any disrespect by that, but like I'm gonna call it what it is. Like, you're gonna turn fat, and you're gonna be wondering, like, wow, what happened? It took consistent measures to be that fat. So everything in life is a consistent practice, whether you know it or not. So it's just like, just because you do something bad for that minute or 10 minutes or a couple hours don't mean the rest of the day has to be like that. You know, you can change your life at any moment, anytime. And that's the whole thing about being human, man. Like, dude, we can literally change anything we want to fucking change. Like, I don't have to be the same guy I was 2 years ago. I could be different from that. I'm not stuck like this. If I want to become bigger and diesel and shit, I could do that. It's the remarkable, like, it's just a remarkable trait of being human, man, of being in this world and being able to create what we want to create.
Yeah, it definitely is an experience, man, just to be in this moment right now, creating this podcast. You know, we doing it. Or whatever it is, man, even just waking up and breathing and looking at the trees outside and how the sun is, you know, in the sky and the moon is at a perfect thing and it all swings in coordination. It's just crazy, you know. So I definitely feel like it's a good idea to always come back to gratitude, you know, and just be grateful for the opportunity to live, you know, to change things about your life, to say, hey, you know what, I want to do this, and make your mind about it and go out and do it, you know. And in that moment that you're doing it, you're going to feel good, you know, because you're creating it. And you know, that's a tricky thing too, is it takes time, you know. You might not get the result that you want immediately, but even in the pursuit of that, you know, it's a good feeling to be creating something that matters to you, you know, and creating your own reality and creating what you want out of that. What do you want out of your experience, you know?
And let's also give you guys like some tips and stuff. Like if you're laying there, say, listen to the podcast, and you're like, man, they're talking a lot of good stuff right now, but I don't feel motivated or inspired to take action. I don't know how to even tune into that type of stuff, right? So just know that you have to at least know the direction that you're going, right? So say, for example, when we're saying, hey, you can literally change your life in whatever direction. If you want to get bigger, you can get bigger. But that's a direction we know we're going to go. And then because of that direction that we know we're going, and our previous past of knowing like lifting and everything else, like nutrition, we know what steps we need to take to get to that goal. So if you don't have, you know, the education behind, you know, how you're going to get there, well, that's a step you have to take. You have to educate yourself to bridge that gap, and then start taking action after that. What did your education teach you? What do you have to do next? And start building. So it's a process to everything. It might be, you know, again, as simple as thinking, what is it that you want? And as you're laying there listening to this podcast, you might come up with that idea, realize you don't know how to do it, and the first thing you got to do is a simple Google search, and that's how you get started.
Yeah, he hit on that. It's a good education. There's stuff out there for you. But I can kind of bring it back to like the emotional realm of it, you know, having that emotional tie to it. You know, maybe it can be that past bad experience to kind of push you to get up and do the thing. How do you feel back when those kids were picking on you because you were fat or because you were too skinny or whatever? And oh man, I don't feel like it. Think back to that. You know what? Those kids were saying some shit. You know what? I'm gonna get up and prove them wrong. You know, when you don't feel like doing it, you know, but it's always good to be feeling good about it. You know, chasing it down. You get the chance to do it. So, but you can always come back and channel that darkness too, man. Sometimes the dark side is a good side. Sometimes, you know. The Jedi and the dark side, you know, Star Wars even was dope, man. But
yeah, definitely. Like my biggest thing is don't wait, man. Don't keep creating excuses and saying, well, I don't have this right now. That's the thing I was doing in life. I was like with the YouTube thing. Oh, I'm not at this level. Well, I don't have the access to this equipment. And you just, once you stop worrying about what you don't have and you worry about what can I do now, you focus on do now, and then you just start doing. Next thing you know, things start to fall into place like you wanted them to, and you could be further along than where you were yesterday. So that's something I told my cousin as well. Like, you know, he wants to start his gaming channel, and he's like, "Oh, I don't have this." I'm like, "Man, bro, like, I don't care what you have right now, man. Just do it, bro. Just do it. The idea is circulating in your head. Don't wait. Do it." I had the same thoughts going through my head with the YouTube shit, and next thing you know, I'm like, "Oh, okay, I made it this far." So don't wait. Just do it. Don't think about like compare yourself with other people, because it's the same thing I was doing. I still do from this day. You know, I compare myself. I see people in certain situations. I'm like, damn, man, I want that. You know, but I don't let it get me down. I just be like, all right, just keep doing what you're doing, man. And so, and the biggest thing too, even if it's 5 or 10 minutes, man, I don't care what it is. It's time that you're putting into the bank, man. And you didn't just get that money overnight, right? You know, like you put money or just whatever. You didn't get that overnight. It took work. Everything takes work. And once you realize everything takes work and consistent work, then that's when you realize anything can be accomplished.
Yeah, that consistent work, man. And I think it's honestly coming back to like, what is it that you really want? You know, think about the future, you know, when you're 40 and, you know, in your retirement, like, what is it that you really want to kind of leave this realm or create in this realm for your experience, you know? And once you know what it is that you really want, just sacrifice everything else, man, and attain that thing that you truly want, you know, and think back to it when you don't feel like doing it. Think back to it when you feel like doing it. Think back to, and just hold it at the front of your mind. What is it that you really truly want, you know, and just focus on that. Block out everything else. Block out the negativity. Block out the thoughts that are stopping you from doing it, and really just call on your highest self to say, you know what, like even me, I'll kind of like, oh, like I'm tired or something. I think like, man, what would the future mean? What is this effect gonna have on that outcome that I really want? You know, that's gonna stop me a day, at least. It could be 5 years just because I took a day off today or something. You know, you never know. Exactly. So why not just go after it wholeheartedly, and then the higher self will come in and kick your ass like, hey, get the fuck up. What would you be doing? You should. What is you compared to the highest self? What would they be doing? He'd make the better decision. He would eat the salad. He would hit the workout. He would write the script for the YouTube video. He would get up and whatever it is, you know, and really just try to channel that and hold it at the front of your mind, man, and create that that final outcome that you want for yourself. What do you want to be known for, and just the experience that you want to create for yourself, man.
And I'm going to add a little story into that too, sort of kind of like to show you guys, you know, to know your worth and your value, you know, as you're going through life, you know. The story is about like a son who had received a watch from his father, right? And the father's like, hey, go and, you know, sell this watch. It's like, you know, it's valuable or whatnot. It's all I have left. So the son goes to, a place to go and sell the watch. They're like, oh, it's only worth like $30 or whatnot, something really small. So then he's like, hey, he comes back, he says, hey, they said it was only worth like $30. So then he says, hey, no, go try another place. So he goes and tries another place. They said, you know, this place said it was only worth like $75, which was more than the, you know, previous place. Then eventually he goes to like a museum, and the museum's like, hey, no, this is a super collector's watch and everything like that. So, you know, it's worth, you know, a couple $1,000s. Is like, you know, knowing what your worth is always, you know, valued in the right place. And so as we're going through our life and everything too, you have to set goals for yourself. And when you know what your higher version of yourself looks like, that higher version of yourself can show up every day. If you value that version of yourself and you realize that other people will as well through the actions you take, you know, again, as we were saying, if you don't show up one day, that could set you back 5 years. Because what if the person who would have recognized your value was at that store or at your job or at wherever it was that you didn't show up at in that time when you could have shown up as your greatest self too? Or you show up and you don't show up in that greater self mindset. You show up in like, you know, everyone else isn't doing this above and beyond. I don't have to do it today. It's just another Tuesday, and you just slack. And you miss out on that opportunity. Exactly. Because you didn't value, like, you know, what you bring to the table and didn't bring it to the table. So
let me say something about that too, because that's the biggest thing is understanding your value. Recently, I was offered the opportunity to teach martial arts to a group of middle-aged women, I would say, and the host asked me, do you charge? And I'm in my mind, I'm like, oh, I could do this. In the past, I've done shit for free just for the sake of promotion of my brand. Nope, not this time. I charge. I'm like, this is how much I charge. And she said, okay, we can make that work. And I was like, all right. That's understanding your value, because I put a lot of time and effort into my skill set. And yeah, thank you. I appreciate it. And so I seen this guy. He's on Instagram, and he's like, the dude, he's remarkable. He looks like Kratos. And he's like, I call him one of the handstand gods. And so this guy, he's in a position where I'm going to be in someday, where there's classes that will host him, and they'll pay him a certain amount, and he'll teach like the basics of holding a handstand, what moves you can get to get this move. And that's how I thought about my accomplishment yesterday or 2 days ago, when I was like, well, you want to pay me to actually host me, for me to come in. This is my time on value. I could be doing other things in my time. And so what Tyler was saying is true. You got to understand your value. Once you understand your value and realize that you have something to offer, then at that moment, that's when you truly are liberated from the chains of your former self. That inner self, like I was just explaining earlier, where you're scared, you're timid, you don't feel like you could do some shit. Create that outer shell. And then once you create that, begin to operate out of that thought alone.
Who is it? Who's Kratos, bro?
Oh, Kratos is from God of War. From God of War.
Yeah,
you guys ever play?
Yeah, I'd play God of War. But
Yeah.
who's the handstand guy?
Oh, the handstand guy. Man, I gotta. His name is like, he has this name. It's like he has to be from either Germany or somewhere in Eastern Europe. I'm gonna find him real quick, but it starts with a Y. Yuriol, something like that. I'm like, really? He looks like Kratos. I swear to you. I'm gonna look him up.
I ain't never seen him, man. But just to interject, man, this tea is slapping. Yeah. What do you got in here? It's kind of sweet a little bit, and the turmeric is hitting, bro.
I found the guy too. Okay, so his name is Yuri Marmerstein or something like that. He looks like Kratos. Okay. When he had like a depiction of Kratos in his Instagram, I was like, damn, that's Kratos right there. Ginger. Yeah, like the dude, and he's incredibly strong, Ginger like. Ninja. And you know, one thing I learned from him too is when he was learning acrobatics, he said he didn't have the access to the mats and all that stuff. He was doing this shit in the sand.
They get down in different countries, man.
Man, yeah, it's just like
Yuri. It sounds like he could be foreign or something.
He's from his last name. I know he has to be like, he might be German or something like that. Right? Yeah, that's Steen. But the tea is I think what you guys taste is the I gotta say it's the turmeric. It's like the add like a little sweet flavor. Yeah, it might be because it's combined with the because it's a turmeric ginger blend. So I know it got turmeric ginger. It has black pepper. I gotta ask the other tea people.
Tea leaves in there. That's all
yeah. That's all. I didn't do anything else in there. Sometimes I put Ceylon cinnamon or some other concoction in there, but just that little extra spice, that little sweet is good, ain't it? Right? Yeah. I put in half of a teaspoon in there. So I did 2/4 scoops of a teaspoon, and I didn't put a lot of water in there. Okay. So it's kind of more potent. I put a good amount of water, just enough. So that's why you guys probably like, damn, this shit hits. Like it's right on point.
Yeah, it's good, man. It's good. Solid. Yeah, tea, man. Go if y'all around, got your little herbal shot, man. Grab some tea, man. Grab some of this, some tea leaves. It's good. Trust me, I'm telling you. But shoot, man. Other than that. I think we crushed it, man. I think we gave these guys some life hacks, some tips, better than life hacks, man. Some life rules, you know. Anything else you guys want to talk on?
That's about it, man. I had said what I needed to say.
Okay. It's a beautiful day out here in Michigan, man. I hope y'all enjoy y'all day wherever you at. Stay at the higher self, man. All right, I'm gonna kick it to you. We probably out.
And we gonna go ahead and cut it. Y'all gotta go handle some baby shower shit. Oh man, that's a lot of shit. Okay. I must say this.
Today?
Yes. As soon as I'm done, like
baby shower.
Yes. I told my girlfriend like, oh yeah, it's not gonna be as stressful. Like now I'm like, fuck. Shit. I typed to hit my boy last week, like, bro, what the fuck am I doing right now? Like, this shit is so much work. I thought I could just show up. Now I gotta go get the invitations, gotta do this extra shit, get the banner. I'm like, fuck, man, I'm about to get him a Building Physiques banner and call it good. Like, fuck a Goku banner. Yeah, shit, exactly. Like, man, damn. So yeah, just make sure, guys, if you expecting children or if you have children, I'm sure, like, man, this shit's gonna be a bitch. Now I already know I'm missing out on my sleep now, thinking about my son right now. So, but I'm gonna have a lot of fun with him. I can't wait. But anyways, guys, I'm gonna go ahead. I gotta go do this baby shower stuff. Great podcast as usual, man. We kicked the shit, we shot the shit, we did everything under the sun. We gave you the shit. And we're going to keep giving you the shit here at Fill Your Cup Podcast. All right, y'all? So I hope you guys enjoyed it. It's your boy, Spence Crosby, a.k.a. Faiski. You already know when I'm bringing that lightning, baby. I'm out.
All right, man. It's your boy, Professor Ill Will. New Wave Coaching, man. You can't change the waves of life, but you can learn to surf. So learn to surf, man. And let's get these shreds, man. Let's get in shape, bro. All right. Kicking it off.
And hey guys, if you are interested in turning your talents to income, Tyler Wellness is leaving out here with the Talent to Income Academy, guys. Making dreams happen. Make yourself a paycheck.
All right, man. Make sure y'all subscribe. Leave some 5-star reviews on this podcast if it helped you out in any way. Until the next time, man. I'm out.
Peace.